We're going.
Hello, all. Welcome to the first 30 over 32 podcast. My name's Greg. As you all know, I'm also Mr. Predictions in the Discord. You know how I run and do everything for the NFL, and I continue day to day to try and give you guys the best predictions I can. So, to start off early this year, I want to create this podcast with a bunch of my buddies of mine and get into it. We're going to be just going over, the preseason hype that's been leading up into the draft, and we can just dive right into it. So I'll start it off by introducing everybody. Will, go ahead.
What's good, guys? My name's Will, lifelong Bengals fan here. It's a massive struggle, but over the last few years, we've been on the up. So I'm going to try to provide the best football knowledge that I possibly can and give my expertise, even though the life of a Bengals fan has been pretty terrible.
I'm Matt. I'm a Giants fan. Giants have also been terrible for a long time, and I don't know if it's going to change anytime soon because after last year, there's no idea of where this team is going at the moment. So all I could do is hope that things are going to go well, but yeah, we'll see what happens.
Now,
I mean,
listen,
as you can,
I think we got to provide some context, Greg, of why you're a Vikings fan and why I'm a Bengals fan, being from the area that we're from, dude. Matt, you make sense.
Yeah,
He's a
it makes
Giants
sense.
fan for local reasons, but I think Greg, you should probably give a quick background to why you're an out of towner like me.
so I was just about to get into that. It's a struggle, just like the rest of you boys. I mean, it all started when I was an infant. They brought me to a Niners Vikings game out in San Francisco. Saw Candlestick. I want to say saw, and fell in love with the color purple. And that's been my squad ever since. I ride the days of Christian Ponder, Dante Culpepper. We can go way back to Toby Gerhart, White Magic. Let's get it. Uh, the AP days. I mean, I'm just a bleed purple kind of guy. I mean, just flows in my system. Now, I don't know why you're a Bengals fan. I mean,
Dude,
Cincinnati is quite some far time. I mean, you're right on the lakes, but
listen,
go
man,
for it.
I think back in the day, the first thing that I saw had to be the striped uniforms, dude. The orange and black. We got the tightest unis in the nation in the NFL. I don't think anyone can really argue with that. So that's what first captured my attention when I was a kid on the TV watching them. And then the second thing was the GOAT wide receiver, my favorite player of all time. That's Chad Ochocinco, man. He was out there running his mouth, just dancing his feet, just having unbelievable routes and cooking players like Darrelle Revis in the backfield all day long. So I think seeing that combination, and then I also hate New York sports fans. I'm just going to come out and say that right now. Whether it's Giants, Jets, Knicks, Nets, Yankees, most of them just don't know how to contain themselves, and I wanted to get out
Dude,
of this market, so I
but
found the
there's a
Cincinnati
reason
Bengals,
though.
dude.
There's a reason. It's because
Oh
if you're
yeah,
a New York team, you expect to win every year. That's why.
I agree. I
That's
agree.
why, dude. And that's why fans get pissed off. So, it's simple as
I
that, I
agree.
think. Yeah, bro.
I
Chowski, that's all you got to do.
Yeah, dude, exactly. Exactly. So, you guys don't know much about that yet, but hopefully one day you'll see. Maybe it happens. Maybe, I
Hopefully
don't.
one day.
Hopefully one day.
We were 2 seconds away with the Joey B in the backfield from a Super Bowl ring, but we'll get
Yeah,
into
it's
that
rough.
another day.
That's rough, dude.
It's
All right,
rough.
so let's jump
Let's
into
start
this
it.
right now. We're gonna rip it off with franchise tags. I mean, I see you right there in fourth. Big T Higgins and Cincinnati Orange. Go for it, Will. Run me down. What's
Yeah,
going on with
I
this?
think I think T Higgins is one of the biggest stories of the offseason. Obviously, this is he's been in the league for 4 years now. He's had time to really proclaim himself as a great receiver. I think if you put him on any other team, he's a number one on a lot of other teams. He knows that. The GM of the Bengals coaching staff knows that, and it's hard when you have a guy like T Higgins who's so versatile, who can catch balls over people, who can get down the field, also catch the short stuff. But then you also have Jamar Chase, who's obviously one of the top three receivers in the league, absolute stud. It's kind of polarizing, right? you want to get Jamar Chase the touches, but you also got to get T. Higgins the touches, and he's proven that he's been reliable. So I've gone into this offseason knowing that we probably weren't going to have him for the 2024-2025 season. We franchise tagged him. I think that's what we had to do in order to be able to trade him or make a deal with another team to get the most value from him. I just don't really see a scenario where we keep him. I don't think he wants to be a 2 guy. I think he's got everyone in his ear telling him that he's a number 1, and rightfully so. So I think it's just a matter of time whether it's I don't think necessarily that it'll be on draft night, but I think somewhere along the line he's gonna go somewhere else. I just pray and I hope that we get the value that we deserve for him because he is a great receiver.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't see him not being drafted on not being drafted, not being traded on draft night. You guys, I don't even know what type pick you have. I think you're in the late or
Eight,
early
18,
teens.
18.
Yeah, late teens. I mean, to jump up and try and
It's a
replace
it's a
that.
weird spot. It's a weird spot, and that's the thing. If you wanna jump up and get another guy who could be a number 1 on another team, like a Marvin Harrison Jr., not necessarily him, but someone of that essence, you're gonna run into the same problem. If he goes off, he's gonna wanna get number 1 money. We're gonna have to tag him. He's gonna wanna go somewhere else because Jamar is always gonna be that guy now. He's established himself as that guy. So I don't think he's going to be a Bengal in 2024. And we've been Greg, I know I've been talking to you about that a while. I think we've at least I've known that. I've kind of accepted it for a while. When you build all these great pieces and then they really branch out into studs, you're not going to
Yeah,
be able to keep them and pay them what they want, especially when we're paying Joe Burrow $250 million.
and you also
So
got paid tomorrow.
and we got to pay Jamar. That's why we'll get into the other stuff surrounding the Bengals that Joe Mix, but I think realistically, it's been a great run. He's a great receiver. He's had 2,000-yard seasons already, and I just don't see a way that we're going to be able to keep him. It's a shame, but it is what it is. It's the business in the NFL today. It's what it's got to be.
It's fair enough. I guess I'll just jump into L'Jarius Sneed. I mean, Super Bowl champion, coming off a great season, locked it down in the Kansas City Chiefs secondary. I mean, the dude's just unbelievable. If you need a cornerback or even a safety, he's that multi knife kind of guy. He's always sharpshooter. He has those big hits and those great hands. Seeing him get tagged by the Chiefs and then used as trade bait, I don't see why that's not wrong for them to do it. I mean, he's now a Titan. Like Will said, we'll get into the trades later, but I mean, L'Jarius Sneed is the guy you want in your secondary. I mean, yeah, he's small and he's kind of stout based off of his position, but I mean, so was Darrelle Revis, and he turned to the GOAT in New York. I mean, every Jet fan remembers Revis Island. So there could be a Sneed Island when it comes to Tennessee. You never really know. I mean, I don't have that much to say about him. He is what he is. I mean, he's just the guy in the secondary that people overlook. But I mean, I don't see that happening in Tennessee. I think he will really bring the potency of that defense up to its full capability, especially the secondary, which is where they were the weakest ever since they had their Derrick Henry playoff runs. I mean, it's the way it is. I have nothing really else to say about Snead. If you want to get into Burns, Chowski, go for it.
Yeah, I'm hyped about Brian Burns. I feel like it wasn't talked about enough when it happened, and it was one of the biggest trades early on in the offseason. Uh, Stats wise, people are gonna probably look down on Brian Burns and say he wasn't as good as good of a producer people probably expect him to be, but I think he led the league or was one of the top defensive ends in the league in terms of pressures. So I think that'll help the Giants a lot, especially Kayvon, who thrives on not necessarily causing the pressure on the O line, but being the second guy who could get to the QB when other players are on the D line who are getting disruption on the O line. So I like Brian Burns a lot. I think Giants D line is going to be pretty good. They just need a defensive tackle, another one. So yeah,
Fair enough. Fair
yeah,
enough. I mean, it's definitely a huge pickup for the Giants.
yeah, huge.
No,
Uh,
I definitely agree. It's a huge pickup for you guys, especially coming against your division with the Cowboys and the Eagles that have two of the best O-lines in the NFL. So you're gonna need to start pressuring those quarterbacks in that division if you want to hope of
You
winning
need
games,
a
dude.
exactly,
You need
exactly.
to. You need to.
For sure.
Yeah, and I think what the Giants, I mean, I don't want to jump ahead, but I think what the Giants are doing well right now is they're starting to build from the trenches, which they haven't done in years. So Brian Burns is start for that. Even though it should have happened last year or 2 years ago when the new regime came into office for the Giants, I think Brian Burns is a good step in the right direction.
You
So I hope it continues that way.
totally agree. Totally agree. Matabuke for Baltimore, huge guy in the defensive front. I mean, coming off a great season though for D lineman. I mean, that was literally the run stopper for Baltimore and how they got into the playoffs. I wouldn't say the key piece, but definitely a major piece on the defensive side, just for the all around talent that they have. I mean, they went to the AFC Conference Champions for damn sure. I mean, Matabuke was a sack master. He's a massive whole clogger. He will definitely take in whatever hit is given to him. So that franchise tag at what was it? I think 4 years, 98 mil. I mean, that's not bad at all for him. I really enjoy that for the Baltimore Ravens. I know, Will, you probably hate it, but
Hate it.
low key, this guy is going to be a problem in future comes. He definitely deserves that 4 year, 98 mil. And then going straight back to another great defensive piece. I mean, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, right? They rode to the playoffs off of Baker Mayfield, off of a prove it year that he needed. Now, I'm not going to say it was solely Baker Mayfield. Of course, everybody's going to say quarterback this, quarterback talent, offensive talent, Mike Evans, Baker Mayfield, that magic. Antoine Winfield is part of a bloodline. Yep, the bloodline of Antoine Winfield Sr., ex-Viking, and I wanted us to draft him when he was in his rookie year coming out. But this dude is unbelievable. I think he's a Super Bowl champion. He was on the Tom Brady team. He's definitely worth the 5 years, 92 mil. And I mean, there's nothing else I can really say about him besides him being the next. It's gonna hate for me to say this because Harrison Smith is the next Troy Polamalu. He is going to be the next best safety in the league. I mean, he will be the next base safety. Mark my words, it's going to happen. His coverage, his capability to go from man to zone, to his ball hawking skills, to even blitzing. I mean, he's a hard hitting machine with some. I don't even know what to say. Some glue on his hands. I mean, he definitely is a great piece for that Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. That's all I really have to say about that, though. Like 5 years, 92 mil. All right, boys. Like,
I mean, it's a bag,
let
yeah.
him ride.
That
Bag.
yeah,
Let
that
him
is a bag.
let him
Yeah.
ride in Tampa. Tampa's definitely holding it all down.
And I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on that Bucks team. Again, at a later date, we'll kind of analyze the teams a little bit more. But I think giving Baker the big contract as well, getting them help on defense, because it's going to be, in my personal opinion, it's going to be a battle between them and the Falcons for the supremacy of the division next year. I think they're going all in with Baker, and rightfully so. He had a great season, and if they can get him some help with Winfield, I think it could be a good combo potentially.
Yeah,
For
I
sure.
agree. Yeah.
But that brings us in the next one, which is Josh Allen, and not the quarterback of the Buffalo Bills. We're talking about the linebacker from Jacksonville, Josh Allen. I think he was the bright spot of a pretty mediocre Jacksonville team in total. He had 17 and a half sacks last year, which is huge for that defense because production wise, if you look at their offense, obviously Trevor Lawrence, the guy that they've been riding with for a while, had a down year. A lot of that team was pretty hyped up after they beat the Chargers last year or 2 years ago in the playoffs. They had that come from behind win. So I think Josh Allen's going to be a bright spot for that defense to keep them moving forward. Obviously, now there's a ton of competition in the AFC South with the emergence of the Texans, the Titans, the Colts. So the fact that they re-signed him, it was I think it was 1 year. What was the million figure on that, Greg?
I think no, he signed a 5 year, 150 mil.
It was okay. I
Just
was thinking
recently.
5 year, 100. Okay, 5 year, 150 mil, which is absurd, but well deserved. If you're getting 17 and a half sacks from that position, that's fantastic, and he had 43 solo tackles as well as 23 assists last year. So I think it's a good signing. Again, we'll see how that team balances out offensively as well, and who they draft and pick up. Because I'll tell you right now, the Texans are a team that not only I put stock in last year, I think they're going to be excellent next year. So they just got to keep up with the rest of the division, to be honest. And I think that's the first step that they could have made.
100%. I agree. I mean,
Yeah,
there's a lot
yeah.
of key pieces that were picked up during free agency. We'll get into it, but he's definitely that star act. He's the class act. He's the class act on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Besides
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne, like the dude is.
I thought that defense was pretty lackluster as well. They
It was
blew a
pretty
lot of
bad,
late
yeah.
games. They blew a lot of late games. Not that the offense didn't do them any favors. I don't know if you remember the division clincher where they lost to the Houston the week before they beat the
Yep.
Colts. They beat Jacksonville.
What a
Trevor
terrible
Lawrence. I mean,
loss.
yeah, the
So
defense
bad.
played well, to be fair, and Josh Allen, he played well in that game. I think that was a game where he had 2 sacks in, but Trevor Lawrence really just did not do them any good there. So it's gonna be interesting to see how that team kind of rebuilds after that and rebounds after that playoff win 2 years ago. They missed the playoffs last year. All right, we're signing him to a big contract. We're gonna try to retool and kind of build off what they had 2 years ago, because I'm a Trevor
Sure.
Lawrence fan. I think he'll be good. So we'll see.
Nice. So, for Jalen Johnson, he signed a 4-year, $76 million deal with the Bears. The Bears, what they're doing, I mean, I like what they're doing. Jalen Johnson's one of the best corners in the league. Um, so to keep him, and corner is one of the most important positions in the league. So you're gonna keep your best corners no matter what. Uh, and they're a team that's honestly on the rise, probably quicker than a lot of teams in the league. So I think it was a great signing. Really, yeah, really not much to say besides that you want to keep your best corners, and he's one of the best corners in the league. So it's an automatic signing. I don't see why they would ever get rid of him or let him walk. So
I
pretty
mean,
much
I'm
that.
not gonna lie to you. You're gonna need someone to cover Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra St. Brown,
That too.
and
Yeah.
whoever the Packers bring up, Christian Watson. I mean, you can go on and on, like the wide receivers in the AFC North right now, or NFC North. Wow, AFC. Fuck the Bengals.
And also another thing too. So Jalen Johnson has started all of his games. He's never been hurt. That's another bonus too. So he's a reliable corner.
This is
Um,
also very true.
yeah. So yeah, great corner. Uh, yeah.
I mean, I couldn't say it any better. He is a great corner, especially with the talent that's out there in the division and the amount he's getting paid. I think it's just right for the Bears. I hope it's another Bears mistake because they always shoot themselves in the foot. But
I don't think he's gonna be one. I don't think he. I
no,
think
probably,
I don't think he's gonna be one. I don't see a lot of mistakes the Bears have made so far, but we'll talk about that more, I guess.
for sure,
So, yeah.
for sure. So what about this boy Kyle Duggar? Will you
Kyle
said this is
Duggar.
your home.
People forget that he was a late round pick. He went to a school called Lenoir-Rhyne, which I believe is in North Carolina, which is Division II school. So he's a D2 boy, which I absolutely love to see. So if you can play, they'll find you, bro. They'll find you. But last year he had 71 solo tackles and only 2 interceptions. For a pretty awful Patriots team. And again, I don't really see much improvement in terms of where the New England Patriots are going to be next year, but they had to re-sign him. He was kind of a stalwart of that defense at the safety position. Again, it depends on who they draft, the New England Patriots, to kind of complement back there in the secondary, but I think he's the bright spot, another bright spot on a pretty lackluster team currently right now. He agreed to a 5-year, $58 million deal, so he'll be there for a while. They're going through a regime change. Obviously, they're still coming off the backs of the Brady and Belichick era. We all know it. It's going to be another down year for them. I don't see how they don't finish 4th in their division. But again, when we get into the predictions later on with where the teams are going to finish, we'll get into that. But I like Kyle Duggar. I think he's fast. I think he's got good hands. I think he's a good player. So we'll see what he does in 2024. I will note that his interception total did go down over the past 2 seasons. He only had 2 last year. But again, He was the best safety on that team. They're not going to attack him.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I think he also plays nickel for them when they get
He
into a
does.
nickel
Yeah, he
concept.
does.
So
Yep.
that could also affect his interception rate. But I
His
mean,
interception rate,
that's
yeah, but there again, when you're playing the Patriots, I don't think you'd really want to end up attacking him anyway. There's a lot more weaknesses to that defense as it is. So again, we'll see how he plays. 5 year, $58 million. It's a lot of money, but again, like Matt, you was saying, it's a position you need. It's a position you got to cover, and it's a position you got to pay.
yeah, that's definitely true. Definitely true.
Yep. So Michael Pittman, uh, the one of the top receivers in free agency this offseason. He was on the Giants' radar when offseason started, and I honestly didn't want him. So, but I knew he was gonna stay on the Colts anyway, and so he signed a 3-year, $71 million deal. So not a crazy deal, but it's pretty crazy actually. Um, Anthony Richardson needs a wide receiver one. Every team does. And he's a tall receiver. He has good hands. And honestly, he had a great season last year. Like people kind of put it like they didn't really pay attention to him that much. I still think he's not one of the best receivers in the league, but he had a really good season. So with Anthony Richardson coming back, it's gonna be a pretty good duo. I think the first 3 games of last season for them before Anthony Richardson got hurt, he was getting a lot of targets, Michael Pittman. So we'll see if that continues next year. But yeah, seeing the Colts keep him is not a surprise. It's not a surprise.
Nah, neither do I. You said it best. I mean, they always need another. You always need a number one, and he's your number one guy in
Yeah.
Indianapolis. I mean, with AR coming back, he's gonna be a lethal trap. He did it with Gardner Minshew throwing the ball to him.
Yeah.
Gardner Minshew, and I mean, you could say everything about his haircut and his flow, like the way he plays. AR's the guy there. He was
He'll play
drafted
better.
to be the guy there.
Yeah.
He
I
did.
was just,
He will play better.
he'll play better with AR for sure, I think.
Dude,
It's destined for it.
Yeah.
I'm still not on that AR hype train, but again, we'll get into that at a later time.
I just want to say though, his highlights are incredible for only those first 3 games. They're incredible. Like, and I'm not even lying. Like, the man, he's fast. He gets out of the pocket. He has a gun for an arm. I I think he's pretty good. But we'll see. Like you said, we don't know for sure, but it's gonna be
You
one of
just
the
don't.
biggest stories next year.
I'd hate to pass judgment on a rookie that's only played 3 NFL games. I can't bring myself to do it, bro. I can't. He has to play more than that. Listen, I think he's got all the tools and build to be an elite NFL QB. Yeah, and I think the Colts are surrounding him with great talent. But dude, I have no judgment on him yet, to be honest with you.
I mean, that's fair.
You never know what could happen, and if he gets hurt again, man, all it takes is another injury, dude. So it really depends on a lot going on in Indianapolis. But I'm a little quick to say that he's going to be the next greatest thing.
Yeah, I can give you that, but it's just the dude knows how to play ball. He
I
knows
agree.
how to
Listen,
play.
I'm not taking anything away from him in that sense. I just think from a standpoint of even myself, like I feel like the media and just people in general just are so quick to judge rookies on a few performances, even down the line, and
Yeah,
I think that just gets so overhyped and so over talked about. Like you have to look at it from a broader perspective.
Well,
Man's only played 3 games, and I understand that
think
he
about the
looks great.
coaching though that they have. I mean, Shane Steichen's one of the best offensive coaches in the league,
Yeah,
man. Look what he did with Jalen Hurts. No one thought Jalen Hurts was gonna be good.
Hurts was good. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree.
So,
Well, it's just time will tell next year for them. To be honest with you, time will tell, and I think they're going to be a dangerous team regardless.
yep.
true,
All right,
true. All
let's
right,
go to the next.
all right. Let's rip it off. These are some of the bigger names in the free agency pool that were signed by some of the teams. We only picked 4. I think that's willing enough. You get the gist of it, but we're just gonna wrap it up. Run through them as much as we can. So, yeah, you're the AFC North guy, Will. Let's send it off with your Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, yeah. So there's a lot of movement in the AFC North, a lot of headlines that came out this year, free agency wise. I was happy with the Bengals. It's about goddamn time that we made some moves in free agency. We've been much more a team that has kind of sat back and waited for stuff to happen and waited for the draft. And don't get me wrong, obviously we've drafted well. We've made a Super Bowl and an AFC championship in the past 4 years, thanks to the people that we've drafted. But it's finally about goddamn time that we addressed needs. And the first one being Trent Brown from the New England Patriots. We need a big body in the offensive line position, dude. We need people to protect Joe Burrow. We've been saying this for 4 fucking years, and it still has not been done. To be fair, we've had injuries. We've had, kind of a revolving door from the O-line standpoint. But man, they have to get it together. And I think getting Trent Brown is a great pickup. Just a big body. I think we're going to also, I'm not going to tell you who yet because we're not doing that yet, but I think we're also going to take another offensive lineman from Oregon State. I won't give a name, but I think we're going to take him in the draft at 18. And we're just going to keep beefing up that O line because, again, over the years, that was the difference between a win and a loss in the Super Bowl. So I think that's the first big thing for us. The next big thing with the departure of Joe Mixon, we bring in Zach Moss. I think that's a good pickup. I think it's going to be a good pickup. I think with the new O-line, with Jamar Chase, with Gesicki at tight end, with the weapons that we have, we're going to be able to spread the ball out like we normally do, like Zach Taylor wants to do. And I hope that Zach Moss can come in and not fill the shoes of Joe Mixon, but at least be able to get a 3rd and 5. Because that's all we're going to need from a running back standpoint. That's all we're going to need, man. And that's all we've been needing. But we'll see. It's 2-year, $8 million. So we'll see. Why are you laughing?
I got so much to say. Joe Mixon is irreplaceable. I mean, I'm not gonna say he's
Was he that?
irreplaceable, but
Nah.
in your offense today, Joe Mixon was that guy. He was your guy to get a first down if you're down bad in a third down situation.
I will say that.
He was your punch and go right at the 1 yard line. You think Zach Moss is the guy? I mean, hey, he may have proved something in Indianapolis, but
Well, that's what I'm
hate.
saying, man. When you
No
look at
hate.
this, dude, when you look at this, all we as an organization right now, the offense that we run, that Zach Taylor runs, and the players that we have, all we need him to do is get a goddamn 3rd and 5. That's it, bro. We're gonna spread the ball out. We're gonna throw it deep. We could run it in the slot. All we need is to him to convert the short yardage gains, and that's what I think is the most
But
important job for
I
any running back that we get.
but aren't the Bengals gonna do running back by committee? Because they have that other guy on their team that's pretty good, right? Who's the?
Chase Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way Zach Moss is gonna be getting a ton of touches. Like, they're gonna split touches, dude. I'm sure of
Well,
that.
that's again,
I mean,
that's what I'm saying. I think he's just they have to convert in the short yardage situations, both of them.
Yeah.
And if we know that Jamar Chase all year is going to get double covered either way down the field, down the middle of the field, so
Yeah.
he can catch the ball as well. It's always an option for us. Chase Brown can catch the ball. He's been proven to do that as well. He broke a couple really big check down plays last year that I saw. So I think just being able to convert short yardage, be an outlet for Joe Burrow when our targets are covered down the field. That's what we need. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
The final point with the Bengals, because I don't want to drone too much onto it, is Geno Stone, safety, 2-year, $14 million. Another position that I think, since we had the departure of, Jesse Bates and, we got Cam Taylor-Britt, we got some good young players coming in. I think he'll hopefully have somewhat of an impact. I don't think the secondary's been bad, but I don't think it's necessarily been good. We've given up a lot of big plays over the past few years, and I think just adding him in the backfield is going to help. Were you going to say something?
No,
Okay.
go for it.
Okay. I think it's just adding another semi big name in the backfield is just going to help us as much as it can down the line. So that's really what I'm going to say about the Bengals. Again, the last part with that we also signed Gesicki to a 1-year deal. the gritty king, absolute legend.
Penn State
Again,
legend.
we'll see. Penn State legend. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see how that pans out. Just another offensive weapon for Joe and Zach Taylor to utilize. So we'll see how it goes.
I did have something to say. That Sheldon Rankin signing, the D tackle, 2-year, 26
Yes,
mil,
that's
that is
huge.
massive.
I like
That
Sheldon
is
can't
a
Rankin.
have-
huge one.
He's
Yeah,
good.
I
You
did too.
can't. Your two TNs are massive pieces to your defensive line, but it just got so much better with someone to clog the little.
Yeah, because we had,
Hey,
to balance
hold
out.
Gotta
on.
stop
Trey
Derrick
Hen-
Henry.
Got
He got it. He's right there,
Yeah.
Mr. BAL.
Yeah, I'll go into it. All right, we're talking about all the teams that I just absolutely can't stand. The Baltimore Ravens, everyone knows it. Derrick Henry signs 2 years, 16 mil. I listen, dude,
Crazy pickup.
crazy pickup, absolutely crazy pickup, and I think it's going to be insane to see him and Lamar Jackson on the same team. However, their receiving core has gone from great to dumpster.
Mm.
And
I
I
wouldn't say
think
great to good to dumpster.
good. Okay, good to
Yeah, it
dumpster,
was not
depending
great.
on how
I
you.
agree.
It wasn't great, but they had a few names there for a few years. But I think not having a fast receiving core, just a receiving core in general, is going to hurt that team. So now that are they going to switch their offense around? What are they going to run with Derrick Henry is yet to be seen. And the other thing that I'll say with Derrick Henry, and it pissed me off in fantasy, is 1 week he would go off for like over 100 yards rushing, and then the next week he just goes missing. And I feel like with a team that the Baltimore Ravens are structured around with Lamar Jackson, he's going to have to produce. If Lamar's not throwing the ball to someone, he's going to have to be the guy that steps up in the backfield and carries the rock. So it's going to be I think it could almost be a different offensive style that Baltimore plays. Baltimore was, with Lamar, very run and gun. They want to spread Lamar out. They want to spread the ball out. Now that they don't have those receiver weapons, depending on who they pick up and depending on who they draft, are they going to change more to, we're going to come down and punch you in the throat, kind of like, the Steelers were back in the day, the Cleveland Browns were back in the day? I don't know. So I think that's a good argument to have. How is that offense really going to change? So
We can get
The
into
other
that
thing-
when it gets to predictions.
yeah, for sure. I think the other thing too is they beefed up the defense with Chris Board. He's an inside linebacker. They signed him for a 1.25 mil for a year. I think that again the defense is always going to be good in Baltimore. It's just they got a bunch of hard hitters down there. I think it only increases with that pickup. So we'll see. Again, when it gets to predictions, man, this is going to be where it gets real fun, bro. But I think the next thing we're going to do is, again, we're going to move on to a big mover and shaker in free agency, and that's the Pittsburgh Steelers. Listen, man, I'm not going to beat around the bush here. Nobody likes the Pittsburgh Steelers. Nobody ever has, except for the community of Pittsburgh, which is a pretty lackluster city, if I'm being honest with you. But the biggest thing, right, what are we going to talk about with the Pittsburgh Steelers? It's the two quarterbacks. Okay, we all know it. Russell Wilson, Justin Fields. I was talking about this with a couple of my buddies the other night. I will say this. Russell Wilson's going to start for them.
For sure.
And as much as it pains me to say this, I hope Justin Fields goes out and balls for the Pittsburgh Steelers because I hate Caleb Williams that much. But again, we're going to get into that. I hope that Justin Fields goes out and balls out and proves to everyone why he's a good quarterback.
Yeah,
I think he's a
I
good
want that
quarterback,
too.
and I think he will play well. Russell Wilson's only got that minimum contract, 1 year, $1 million. Again, getting into the prediction side here, I don't think Russell Wilson's going to play the whole year. I think his trajectory has just been kind of coming down, but we'll see. The next thing that I'll say is Patrick Queen, the linebacker, 3 year, $41 million, dude. That defense is that defense is coming back. They're really trying to build back the Steel Curtain era, man. With
Sure.
Watt and the guys that they have in that backfield, I mean, the Steelers' defense is going to be elite, and that's the thing in the AFC North. You got to have a good defense to compete. With the kind of ground and pound style that these teams used to play, and the spread, the kind of stuff that we're running now. I think the Steelers' defense is superb, and I think that getting Patrick Queen added on to that for that 3-year deal is. I don't really know what else to say about that, man. They're going to be good. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. They're going to be in every game that they play. They're not going to give up a lot of points. and then we'll see offensively, production that they can get out of Pickens and different guys that they have there. We'll see. Matt
Uh,
Canada's gone, so they can't blame it on him now.
I agree. I mean, I do want to just throw out the honorable mention of Cordero Patterson.
Yeah,
That is a Swiss Army knife. That is a
yes,
Isn't that
Swiss Army
crazy?
knife.
They have a
it's
crazy running
crazy,
back
dude.
core now.
It's crazy, man.
They got a really good core.
So it's gonna. I'm telling you, this team is going to go as far as whoever steps up at quarterback can
They're a
take
very
them.
good team.
Because they have the pieces, man. They have
Yeah.
the defense. They have a decent O line. They have Pickens at the one. They have good running backs with Najee's, who can perform and pop off every once in a while. So I think this team is going to go as far as either Russell Wilson or Justin Fields is going to carry them.
100%.
Because they have the pieces, man. And it's going to be a dog. I've been telling Greg this
Yep.
all year. It's going to be a dogfight in that division.
What a
It's going to be a
division.
dogfight.
Crazy
It's
division.
going to be an absolute, top to bottom. And I see a scenario. I'll be honest with you. I'm biased. I see a scenario where all four of those teams get in the playoffs next year.
Well,
I
get to your last four and start eating W's because your boy Jameis Winston is a Cleveland Brown.
I mean, listen, we know the problems with Deshaun Watson, both,
Come on.
Bro, he's gonna be eating the bench, dude. That's where he's gonna be.
Yeah, he's gonna be-
he's gonna
he's
be
gonna-
at.
he's going to be eating turf,
Yeah, bro.
picking it off the ground or stealing crab legs from the local grocery store.
Yeah.
But yeah, they signed him, man. They signed James Winston, which is hilarious. I mean, listen, man, we saw it last year with Joe Flacco coming into that role at the end of the year. Deshaun Watson has his injury problems. He's got his off the field issues, right? So there is room for him to potentially come into play. We've seen that. But what I'll say right now is, again, they got Jordan Hicks, linebacker, 2 years, $8 million deal. Their defense is crazy, man. I think that their defense is crazy, and that's really all you can say about it. Production-wise, they were great last year. Even playing against the Bengals, man, I saw both games. They locked down defense, especially up front with the front three. So I think the Cleveland Browns, again, it's just going to be another issue of how far their quarterback play is going to be able to take them. Can Deshaun Watson stay healthy? Can he actually complete a season? And then they go from there. But overall, man, I think just to wrap it up, quick sentence about it, AFC North, personal opinion, I think it's going to be the best division in football next year. I think all four teams are going to be gunning for the playoffs. I think all four teams are going to be having a winning record potentially. We finished fourth in the division, and we were 9-8 last year.
That's fair. That's fair.
So, I'm just gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it at that, man. So, if you can say what you want to say, but I think it's the best. I think it's the best division in football. So, that's all I got to say about that, man.
All right. Send it over to the AFC East. We got,
Do you want me? You want me to continue with the East, or you want to go into the West? It's up to you.
Yeah, I can jump to the West. Send it. We got the Las Vegas Raiders with Christian Wilkins, the massive defensive tackle, coming in at $110 million for 4 years. The Raiders needed another piece in defensive wise, especially on the defensive line. Max Crosby is probably the best defensive end that I've seen with clout, with the capabilities of defensive end at A-list structure, massive Pro Bowl. You can say Pro Bowl appearances. If he was on any other team, he'd probably have a ring right now. Not gonna hold you.
Would agree with that. Yeah,
I agree.
I'm gonna make it brief. Gotta give some love to my boy Alexander Madison. Alexander Madison, 4 years, I think $3.4 million. Can't go wrong there. They just lost Josh Jacobs to the Green Bay Packers. Sorry, dogs. I mean, Alexander Madison he's a workhorse. I mean, he's a workhorse. There's no way, shape, or form. And they also have that Zaire dude. What's his name? Zaire something. Or am I totally botching his name? He's he went kind of crazy. He's a second string for them. Anyway, he's
Zaire
probably going to be.
Mitchell?
No.
Okay.
Maybe I'm totally botching his name. Whatever. It's definitely going to be a running back committee over there in Las Vegas. I mean, they did pick up Gardner Minshew, quarterback, backup Derek Carr. No, not Derek Carr. What am I saying? They need a quarterback, so that's why they got Gardner Minshew. Aiden O'Connell. This team could also be a move up in the draft type scenario. I've been hearing nonstop from my boy Riley. He's a massive Raider fan. He's just continuously said Raiders getting Jaden Daniels. No way, shape, or form that they're going to trade with the Washington Commanders.
No,
Anyway,
I don't see that move happening. No chance.
Las Vegas, that's all I got to say about you. I mean, I wish you luck in the AFC West because you definitely have the Kansas City Chiefs going for a three-peat. Get into them later. Los Angeles Chargers, going off what you said with the Baltimore Ravens and that ground and pound offense that they have. They have the new coach, Jim Harbaugh, right? Not John. Jim Harbaugh.
Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah.
Jim Harbaugh. He is a ground and pound guy. We saw him in Michigan. He's been constantly moving. Sorry about that, folks. I'm not a big college guy. Anyway, Jim Harbaugh, if you saw that Michigan team, was a ground and pound team. He's got his guy, Gus Edwards. What was he, consecutively on pace to score a touchdown every week of the season? Ridiculous. I had him in fantasy. Great fantasy back for me last year. He can definitely see the outcome of
could do well.
breaching the glass. He can breach the glass ceiling in the Los Angeles backfield, especially with, what they're doing over there. Total makeshift, total reboot for the Los Angeles Chargers. Justin Herbert's your guy. And I mean, what can you really do about it? They still have that potent defense. It's all very capable. The signing in Will Dissly as well, 3-year, $14 million ain't bad. He was one of the best tight ends in Seattle, as they had 3. He's definitely a ground and pound guy, definitely a red zone target. The Los Angeles Chargers, you can't really speak much about him besides their new head coach and that they're rebuilding. I mean, you guys can agree with me here. I don't really see them making a push for the playoffs.
I
Do
don't
you?
think they're making the playoffs. No.
No, not this year. No.
No. I think it's gonna be like 1 or 2 years. They're starting
They're
over,
They're in
bro.
a they're in a
over.
rebuild.
Yeah.
They're in a
Total
rebuild.
reboot.
Yeah.
They got rid of Keenan Allen. They got rid of Mike Williams. And
Eckler.
Austin Eckler. That whole team's different.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it goes down to even more because now I got to talk about the flipping Denver Broncos and Sean Payton's circus that he's holding out over there in the Midwest. Like, what are we doing?
Man,
What are we
that's
doing?
That's gonna be a trash can.
You have to release Russell Wilson to save any type of cap space for your organization. Look at the 3 names on that board. Those are the 3 people they've signed in free agency, besides other players.
One of them is one's Will.
I just want to say this though. Denver's downfall all started when they were bought. I think it was 2 years ago by the people who own Walmart. That's when their downfall started. Like, let's be honest. Look at the coach that they hired 2 years ago. That dude sucks, and now he's the Jets. So like, nah, bro. Like, Sean Payton should not have been coach there either. He obviously didn't want Russell Wilson. I think Denver's a mess. I think they're a mess.
I really have nothing to say. They signed little Jordan Humphreys. I'm proud of you, little Jordan Humphreys. Keep making your name out there in Denver. I hope it goes large for you. And Will Lutz, I don't know what to say about it, man. I really don't. I could say Brandon Jones. He's a great pickup for them. The safety position was, they get another boom factor for their defense, but not every winning team of a Super Bowl has a great defense. Not defensive. I'm like stuttering my words here. Defensives do win championships unless you have an offense behind them. And the Denver Broncos, good luck to you, because you may have a defense behind you, but where's your offense?
I think what Denver was trying to do with that Russell Wilson thing is they were trying to bring back what they did with Peyton Manning all those years ago, bring in an established veteran, hopefully turning a team around and bring him to a Super Bowl. But Russell Wilson is not Peyton Manning.
No.
He doesn't have the weapons around him. He didn't have the coaching staff around him. So, but I'm telling you, that's in the organization's mind and in John Elway's mind. They were like, okay, we're going to bring in a veteran quarterback to get us to another Super Bowl, and it was a dumpster fire.
Is John Elway still the GM there?
No,
I don't think so. I don't think he was
No.
even there for the Russell thing, was he?
He was.
Thi-
I thought he
This
was.
I forget.
I thought that was
this
his last
team,
hurrah.
It might have been. That's a good way to go out.
That was his last hurrah there, and they're like, "Get the fuck out."
Dude, yeah, literally. Oh
this
my
team
god.
will be #1 overall next year. This team is my
I
prediction.
I'm up
I
there
could
with
#1
see
you.
that. Yeah,
overall.
I could see the Denver Broncos having the worst league,
They are
worst
terrible.
record in football.
Yeah.
I could see that. Yeah.
For sure. Or is it Seattle's because they did trade for Russell Wilson?
Is that a
Someone fact
2025 though? Is that a 2025 pick or is that
Someone throw
later
me a
on?
fact check.
Let me see.
Maybe not. Get to me. I'm gonna go to the Super Bowl champions right now. Signing Irv Smith Jr. Are we gonna finally see this kid pull up
Dude,
and backcourt not drop the ball, slipping it in the game clinching time?
he was so bad for
But
us last year, man. He was
but
so bad.
but he has the best quarterback in football throwing this ball to him.
He's not gonna get a
He
lot of
has
targets.
He's not going to get a lot of targets, dude. They're sitting behind Travis Kelsey, and he's just a placeholder. He was so bad last year. He was supposed to come in for us and start.
Does anybody
start.
do you guys remember what happened last season? Travis Kelsey, yeah, he did a lot, and the whole
He was
Taylor
hurt
Swift,
before the season started, though. He'll be better next year.
exactly. But we could see a little two tight end set that the New England Patriots tried to bring off with
Maybe.
the unspoken and Gronkowski. I mean,
Still
did we
don't think
see?
that. I
All right,
I
fair
don't think
enough.
he's good. I don't think he's good, man. I just don't. Knowing what happened last year and how he blew 2 wins for us by not catching the damn ball. I don't have much to say about Irv Smith Jr. I don't
Listen,
have anything.
I got faith in my boy. We drafted him, and I want to see him do well one season. He didn't do it with us. He didn't do it with you guys. So hopefully it goes well for KC and the Irv Smith train. Chris Jones is another huge aspect. I didn't think he was going to leave. Everybody and their mother thought so. That was on social media. Chris Jones is a Kansas City Chief and will remain a Kansas City Chief and will go probably into the Ring of Honor and will probably continue on as one of the greatest defensive tackles that we've seen play football. I mean, he just signed that massive deal. What was it, 5 years, 90 mil, 95 mil? I mean, he's going down in history books. He's won 3 Super Bowls, about to go to three-peat with Patrick Mahomes and whatever they can make shift of that offense with Andy Reid. That's a dynasty right there. The Kansas City Chiefs are the next dynasty of the NFL. New England Patriots had it from 2001 to 2018, 2019. Kansas City Chiefs will have it from here to possibly
AFC strong though, man.
2040.
The AFC
I mean,
strong.
AFC's
Way stronger than NFC. Like if the Chiefs were in the NFC, I could see that being like them just running it for years to come. But because they're in the AFC, I really think that there's gonna be 1 or 2 years coming up where they're not gonna be there. But we said that last year too, so I don't know.
I agree with that. That's you just proved your own point there. Like the reason why I agree with Greg on this standpoint, and I do believe that they're the next Patriots kind of esque dynasty, is because the whole year we heard that their receivers weren't good enough, their defense wasn't up to par, and Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes still found a way to win a Super Bowl. It's teams that can do that where the chips are down, their backs are against the wall, and they still find a way to win the damn thing.
Dude, it sucks. Their path though to that Super Bowl was so annoying. Stephon Diggs dropping the ball, and then
Miami playing in the cold, but Miami's a fraud.
Yeah, but that doesn't count. Yeah,
we'll get to that.
Yeah, and the Ravens.
I agree. The Ravens just Lamar not doing anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just gonna say this. I've heard it from various sources. This is literally what the New England Patriots were. Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, with no other star besides their tight end, ran the league for what, 15 plus years. And what is going to happen with the Kansas City Chiefs here? Travis Kelsey, whatever time he has left, and Patrick Mahomes with Andy Reid running the league.
I will say this: I am very surprised that Travis Kelce did not retire with his brother this year. I'm very
Nah,
surprised.
he wants that 3P though. It makes sense.
Yeah, but
This
the
will be his
thing
last
is,
year.
I thought he was maneuvering himself for life after the league this year,
What? Because Taylor Swift?
and the podcast that he's doing with his brother, like all that stuff. He's maneuvering himself for life outside the league. I thought it was going to be this year, to be honest with you.
I mean, well,
I mean, you
we
went
have
back
this.
to back, and you're
They
trying to go for a
lost maybe.
three-peat.
Yeah, I don't know.
You're trying to go
Yeah,
for a three-peat. I don't think, I don't know, man, but it's
unless
going
he
to be
comes
interesting.
out, unless he comes out the beginning of this season after the draft, during summer camp, during all that, I'm gonna retire. This is my last season. I'm not even on that train anymore. This
Yeah.
team's gonna go on to win maybe probably 3 more if Travis Kelce stays. That's just my
God,
weird
that
It
prediction
depends.
of mine. I just
Oh
truthfully
my
I think they're
God.
gonna win 3.
I
Unless
would hate
you
Yeah.
that.
I would
shake
hate that so
it
much.
again.
Will Joe Burrow bro step up, bro? He's the
Dude,
Mahomes
I
killer.
know. He's the last. Listen, man. When Joe Burrow is healthy, we're 3-1 against the Kansas City Chiefs. And Zach Taylor has, I don't know how he does it, but he knows how to play that team, man. He knows how to play them every time. Even last year when we had Jake Browning in week 17 on New Year's Eve, it was a one touchdown game, man,
Yeah, it was a
in
crazy game.
Arrowhead with Jake Browning. For some reason, Zach Taylor knows how to scheme perfectly against the Kansas City Chiefs, unlike any other team has before.
Bro, you just
I
gotta
get
fight
it.
fire
And
with fire. That's what they
you
do.
got to fight fire with fire. Yeah, it's exactly. You're
They go
going
all
deep. You're
out.
making big plays. Yeah, you got
Yeah.
to go all out. But that's again. We'll get to that. You want me to go into the AFC East now?
No, I want
Uh,
to hear what
let
Chesky has to
me
say about the AFC
let
South.
me go into AFC South. So, starting with the Colts. Minshew left, so they picked up Flacco. I think Flacco's a good backup, but you don't want him starting, especially after last season. I don't think. I mean, he was all right, but let's just hope Anthony Richardson doesn't get hurt. We talked about Michael Pittman, um, gonna be their wide receiver one. Um, the rest of them, I think the Colts. So I just want to say in general, I think this division is very competitive as well. They're all kind of in a similar spot, you know. I just want to jump right to the Jags too, because this is the most questionable thing. Get them getting Gabe Davis. I like their receiving core. Um, so they have Zay Jones, they have Christian Kirk, who's coming back, who I think is a really good receiver, and then Gabe Davis is going to be their deep threat. I just don't know what's up, Greg.
Don't forget about Evan Ingram.
And Evan Ingram. I mean, yes, former Giant as well. Had a really good season last year. I think part of it had to do with them really not having a lot of receiver threat because Christian Kirk was out and Calvin Ridley just didn't step up. Um, so yeah, I think the Jags, their receiver core is pretty good. Gabe Davis is questionable, but he's a good deep threat. Eric Armstead's another big pickup, 3 years, 51 million. Really good player, and their D line's gonna be very good. And Jags, I think they'll improve next year. It's the way they had it, man. They had a rough season. Uh, so it's gonna come down to Trevor Lawrence stepping up. Uh, and we'll see what
Big time.
happens. Yeah. So the Houston Texans, Daniel Hunter, 2 years, 49. The Houston Texans went off.
Dude,
They went off,
this
dude.
team, I'm telling you right now,
Unbelievable.
I've been saying this for a while, right? I talked to both of you guys about this at the end of last year. I
Yeah.
was like, listen, the 2024 Houston Texans or 2023 Houston Texans remind me a lot of how the Bengals were before we went on the Super Bowl run, right? There was a rookie QB, rookie wide receiver, relatively new head coaching staff, not any expectations in the world, and now look where we are. They have the pieces. They've attracted a lot of players in free agency.
Yep.
They're bringing all the pieces that they need in. They're a well coached, well defensive team. Now there's a little bit of expectations, and I think that they are going to be fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. And they focused on defense. Just looking at their pickups
Yeah.
here, they focus on
And
defense, and they were good defensively. So it's very
the,
impressive what they're doing. Go ahead, Greg.
losing Daniil Hunter is the hardest hit I could have taken
I
this
was
offseason.
curious where he was gonna go, and for him to go to the Texans, like wow,
Is
like the
huge, dude.
Texans are
Yeah,
making moves, man. That's
We have to
big.
moves.
play them. We have to play them.
Yeah,
And this season in Minnesota, it is
yeah,
going to be the
he's
hardest
a
game for
baller.
me to watch. I love Daniil Hunter. JJ Watt said it today. I mean, he's so underrated of a defensive end, and
Yeah,
that team is going to come out next season probably undefeated.
yeah. In two
However,
years, I was just gonna say 2 years, 49 million is a really good deal for the Texans, I think. So
I
for
agree.
sure,
it's like
he
crazy.
definitely he needs that biggie bag. He got it.
Yeah. Um,
He
and
got it.
then and I'm just gonna jump to the Titans. Tony Pollard's really surprising. I
Yeah,
I guess
that's
they're gonna
what's
go
yeah.
running back by committee. Um, 'Cause I mean, I really thought Tajay Spears was gonna be their starter. I really like Tajay Spears. I know he has that knee problem or something like that. But he's super elusive, really good in the backfield, really good out in open space. Tony Pollard's kind of just, I don't know what type of player he is right now. He was kind of similar to Tajay Spears back like 2 years ago, where he was really fast, really good in open space. But after last year,
He
I
fell
don't know.
off.
He fell off a lot. So I'm assuming they're gonna do a running back by committee. Titans they're definitely a team that is they're just a weird team. Like we don't know how they're gonna perform, especially now that they got Calvin Ridley too. So now they have a good wide receiving core. I know Calvin Ridley didn't have a good season last year, but still crazy contract. Like 4 years, 92 mil is unreal for him. So the potential's there. The potential is there for the Titans to have a good year. It's just, I mean, what type of team are they gonna be? New head coach, pretty much. I mean, they're their QB, what's his name?
Bro, the Titans,
Titans, yeah.
Will Levis,
Will
Mayonnaise
Levis,
boy.
yeah. So I'm not a big fan of Will Levis. He had a decent year, I guess, for a rookie, but nothing special. So yeah, like I said, new coaching staff, young QB, really good receiver core. They're gonna be interesting team to watch. So yeah, this is a decent division. I think Texans and Colts are really the top of it. They're the best teams in it. So, but it's always a good
For sure.
Yeah,
division. Always a good battle every year between all these teams in the division. So
I
I
agree.
mean, the AFC South is definitely going to be a division I'm going to be looking
yeah,
very close
they're a
for.
fun division.
Like,
Yeah. So that kind of puts me into the AFC East discussions. Another group of teams that I just really can't stand, if I'm being completely honest with you. Um, so the first thing that we're going to talk about is the Buffalo Bills. Obviously, they've been torn to shreds via this free agency and just overall. Obviously, losing Stephon Diggs and a few other key pieces on defense. They picked up Mitch Trubisky and Curtis Samuel. Again, Mitch is obviously not going to start over Josh. Uh, we know that there has been some rumors about Josh Allen, going some places, but I don't see that happening. They're going to be able to pay him whatever he wants, and he's going to be able to say, "I like Curtis Samuel, 3-year, $24 million deal." Um, Overall, I really don't think that this team is going to be too good. Just from the pickups that they have. They also got Mac Hollins, the wide receiver, for a year. Again, they're trying to fill the shoes of what they've lost with Stefan and company there, but we're just gonna have to wait and see. I don't really see this team making the playoffs. If I'm being completely honest. As of right now, depends on where they draft and what other moves that they make, but I don't really see them making the playoffs.
very hot
That's
take.
I don't see them, dude.
The
I
Bills?
just I don't see them. Yeah, I
Dude,
don't see
Josh
them making the
Allen's
playoffs.
third best QB in the league. Come on, stop with that.
Hot take.
I
Hot take.
I think that's gonna
What
be
the? How
yeah,
is
I
that a
think it
hot
is gonna be
take? What has he done
I
to
think
not prove that? What the heck?
win a playoff game.
Bro, whose fault is that last year? Stephon Diggs. I said this.
All
He
right,
dropped
we'll
a
get to Stephon
bomb.
Diggs.
All right.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
Bro, he
Fair enough.
dropped the
Fair enough.
greatest pass I've ever seen. Anyway.
Yeah, that's true. But the next thing we'll talk about the Jets. Listen,
Jets.
what I'm
Most
gonna
hated team in the league by far.
most hated team in the league. I can't stand them. I absolutely hate them. But I think the New York Jets, in my personal opinion, with who they've picked up and the moves that they've made, I think next year, 2024, 2025, it's all or nothing for the New York Jets, and I think they know that. Uh, with Aaron Rodgers, with the players that they have, they picked up Tyron Smith, offensive tackle, which is going to help protect Rodgers.
All
Obviously, they
1 year
need it.
deals. All
All
1 year
1 year, yeah.
deals.
That's what I'm saying. It's all 1 year deals. So it's all
Their
or nothing for
future's
the New York Jets
done.
next year. It's like do you guys remember when the New York Nets got all of the
Yeah,
old
that's
Celtics
true.
players
Same thing.
and like
How'd
for
that
just
go?
twice for like 1 year, and like how'd that go, right? So
Exactly.
all these guys are 1 year deals. Apart from Garrett Wilson and company that they have there, this is it. This is their trial
This is
period.
it. This is literally it
They
for
are
the whole
literally
franchise.
for the whole franchise. If they don't make the playoffs this year, New York Jets, you're going to London, bro.
Yes.
You're not staying.
Dude, their whole
Well,
team's
You're
all
gonna
I
be
gotta
going to
fired.
say,
Mexico City.
all I gotta say is that the New York Jets and their fans, y'all need to really understand that the turf monster is real in MetLife Stadium.
Oh, they know
It
it.
is,
They know
yeah.
it now.
Yeah.
It
And
is
Hey,
real.
Greg, I
I
know,
can't
bro.
wait, dude.
I know, dude.
I can't wait for that team to be a dumpster fire again, and then for Aaron Rodgers
Can
to
I
complain, and I can't
Hey,
wait, man.
can I just say though, I think the Jets are like Jets fans, they piss me off so much for them to not realize that they're selling their soul as a team and their future is so bleak. Like it's sad, dude. Like I
Well,
really just
I
don't
would
see a
say
good future for this team,
that
bro.
the this team would have a much better future if they had a tenth of a better coaching staff.
Oh,
Saleh is an idiot.
100%.
I'm
He's
just gonna put
bad.
that out there right
Really
now.
bad coach.
Their
Yeah.
whole
for sure.
coaching staff is not good. They're signing all these players to a 1 year deal just to load up for one singular year. And again, if you're trying to build something in the NFL, going for a 1 year wonder is never how it works. It's just not. It's not
I
how you
mean,
build a franchise. And they haven't made the playoffs in 12 years. And they're coming out here talking about going to a Super Bowl. Bro, you haven't even seen the postseason since Mark Sanchez.
It's so bad.
Mark
Come on.
Sanchez,
No, for
the
real.
GOAT.
Like,
Come
yeah.
on, man. But anyway, listen, we'll get into that. We got two more teams here. The Miami Dolphins signed Jordan Poyer for a 1 year, 2.1 mil deal. Jordan Brooks, 3 years, 30 mil, and then Shaq Barrett, 1 year, 7 mil. All defensive pickups. I think they needed to address the defense there because obviously they have everything that they could possibly need in offense down there in Miami. And I think again, this is one of those teams where I think they're gonna go as far as their offense can carry them. Essentially, we know that they're gonna want to put up a lot of points, but when push comes to shove, they picked up defense, and that's really what they need with the Poyer signing as well for them in the backfield. So
I
I like
really
it. I
like
think,
their moves. I
I mean,
yeah,
think
I'm not
all
gonna
these guys
lie.
are good.
They saved all that money. Look at Christian Wilkins on the Raiders, and look at how much money they spent on their defense. Just
Yeah.
look at
yeah,
that. There it is.
Yeah.
It's right there. They took one player and made it into so many pieces. So that's really a smart move by Miami,
Yeah.
especially with the talent that's coming out of New York now, if you want to call it talent. But we're gonna see the Jets Dolphins face the AFC East. That's all I really gotta say about that. I
for
mean,
next year, yeah, I say the same thing. That just leads me into just a quick point about the Patriots. They signed Antonio Gibson and then KJ Osborne. Again, two decent pickups, but it's going to be a question of who they draft QB wise. That team's in complete rebuild. I touched on it earlier with Kyle Duggar and everything that I mentioned with the team then. I don't see a scenario where the Patriots are not fourth place in that division. Even with the pickups that they have, I like KJ Osborne. I think he's a decent wide receiver, 1 year, $4 million. But again, who's going to be throwing him the ball?
Yeah. Patriots will have a top
I
5
couldn't
pick
tell
next
you.
year.
Yeah, I
I
couldn't
think they will
easily.
be.
I
Yeah.
couldn't tell you who's going to be throwing the ball next year, depending on who they get on draft night. So it'll be interesting, but I think they're going to be bad.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's pretty much it.
Jacoby Brissett is there. I mean, if they need it, if they're QB,
He's a career
one.
veteran backup.
He's the
he's-
bridge. He's the bridge.
He's the bridge. I would agree to that, but I think the Patriots are in a scenario where whoever they draft will be week one.
Yeah,
And that's
they
not a
need the
question. I don't
they
really think
need to
that's I
draft a
don't really think
QB.
that's a question. I think whoever they pick in the draft will be the week 1 starter in New England. I don't really think that's going to be much of a question,
I
in
agree.
my
I
opinion.
agree.
Um,
All right.
so that's the AFC side, man.
Do we want to go in
Yeah,
FC or do we want to just do another time? What do you guys think?
yeah, let's do it. Let's send it off.
All right, let's
It's my
just do it all.
squadron. My
Let's do it same, but
squadron
I
right
want to
here.
talk about yeah, NFC East.
We
Go ahead,
won't go
Greg.
in so depth, but it'll be what it is. Now, look it Minnesota Vikings. We need to do one of two things here. We really need to do one of two things: pay the man and draft a quarterback, or we could have traded for a quarterback. We didn't trade, so now it's pay the man and draft a quarterback. Listen, we got Aaron Jones as a running back. Cool beans. He's a great guy in the interdivision. I like him. He's a hard-hitting runner. He's an explosive runner. Then you got Jonathan Grenard replacing Daniel Hunter. It definitely hurts. I mean, Grenard is a huge Houston Texan, defensive end. He had a great season last year. Great. I love it. Sam Darnold, go fuck yourself. I'm sorry. Go see ghosts in New York. Go see ghosts in Carolina. Go see ghosts in San Francisco. Do not do it in Minnesota because if you do, Skull Nation will ruin you. That's just me.
I don't think he start listen, man. We've been talking about this for a few weeks. Personally, man, I think like
He's
you've
gonna
been saying
start.
he's gonna be the bridge, but whoever the hell you draft is gonna be playing by week 5.
I like what Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi did here. They picked up a quarterback that has experience to be a bridge quarterback for when we get our rookie. If we get our rookie,
You have
we'll
to
see
get a
what happens.
rookie.
You're trading up. I mean, it's
We'll
obvious
see.
now.
I think so. I think so too. You're
I
getting a
mean,
rookie.
we'll get into the trades, but I mean, I have nothing really else to say about that. Shaquille Griffin, he was great back then. We needed cornerback help, not the help I want to see, but I'll take him for 1 year, 6 mil. We were suffering in the salary cap. We really were, and we've been suffering since what? Kirk Cousins has signed with Minnesota. I mean, we've been in a poverty situation in our salary cap for the NFL in general since we have Kirk Cousins, and what we made here and what they did with the salary cap, signing Grenard to 76 4 year, Aaron Jones to 7. It's a good replacement, and we'll see what happens. Maybe Aaron Jones has a few more years and he stays in Minnesota. We'll see. Going to the Green Bay Packers, Josh Jacobs, of course that's huge. Of course that's huge. I mean, you got Jordan Love, Josh Jacobs, who's a Jaden Reed, and then you also have Christian Watson. That team's going to be filthy next year. It is going to be filthy. Still bring in AJ Dillon with a 2-bang punch with that. They're 2 heavy backs. 1, 2, 3 in the end zone. Maybe if it's a 5 yard to 10 yard, you can see Josh Jacobs running off 80-yard touchdown. To be fair, he's done it in Las Vegas. Picking up Xavier McKinney wasn't tragic, but it wasn't perfection. I don't like Xavier McKinney. I'm
Really?
sorry, I never did. He reminds me of a cancer to the locker room, just the way his personality is. He was making such a fit over why nobody signed him. He was making such a fit that the New York Giants were sucking, and Daniel Jones, this was his year. They paid the wrong guy. He was their vocal point in the New York Giants organization. And truthfully, yeah, his athleticism's there, but we've seen cancers fall in the NFL.
I
Odell Beckham,
wait, can I
Stephon
comment on
Diggs.
that since he was a
Go for
Giant?
it. You're
I
a
just want to
Giants fan.
say
Yeah.
like I get your point, but Xavier McKinney is only I think he's only 24 and
He's young.
he's one of the best young safeties in the league in my opinion. Because of his age, he could play any position in the secondary, dude. Like he's
I'm
very versatile. He takes up like he can get to spaces on the field very quickly. Reads balls in the air really well. I think I personally wanted the Giants to keep him. I think he would have been a great young player to have with the Giants. And about the locker room stuff, him and Wink Martindale did not get along at all. And I think that's a big reason why he kind of looked toxic in the locker
I
room.
mean,
So,
Green
and the
Bay's
team
gonna
was
be hard.
terrible last year. They were terrible. I don't even feel like, dude, he's such a good player. I get where he comes from, why he was complaining. That team was terrible, and the expectations were so large last year that for him to maybe be disgruntled about the situation with the whole team, I totally understand it. And I'm not even gonna. It's not his fault. He played every game, dude. He was a nasty player too. He was great on the field. I don't know. I get where you're coming from, but I just think he would have been great with the Giants still. So I miss him personally.
I mean, I get it. He was that smash mouth player for the Giants, but I don't see him rising like that. You have Jair Alexander, and Jair Alexander's already a headache. But anyway, they signed Greg Joseph. They got their kicker for the playoffs now, so maybe they can actually win a playoff game in crucial matters. Who knows?
True.
Going now to Detroit, beefed up their interior line, beefed it up with Zeitler and Glass. Now, I mean, they're set. They're set. They also picked up DJ Reader from the Bengals. Sorry, Will, but that's a huge
He's
asset in the middle.
huge asset. Huge.
They lost Josh Reynolds, replace it with DPJ Peoples Jones. 1 year, $6 million. DP Jones, we've all seen what he can do. Little fly routes, run it down the seam, bang, game over.
I think the ceiling is unbelievably high for that
Bro,
Detroit
they
team
are
again
such a
next year.
stacked.
They're going to be unbelievably good.
Only
They're so
if
stacked.
Jared Goff can actually maintain himself. I've seen him crumble with the Rams.
I agree.
And I can see him crumbling with the Detroit Lions.
I don't.
That's just
for
me.
next year. I don't see how they don't make the playoffs.
That division in itself is just like the AFC North.
Dude, their run game's so strong. They're so strong. I don't think Jared Goff's gonna have to do as much as he did last year to make it all the way. I think he'll do
And
the
that's
same
just
thing.
my take. I mean, seeing the Lions being such a hot team right now, yeah, it's very crazy and very eye-opening, but that's just the way of the NFL. And we've seen those three teams that I just listed, Lions, Packers, Vikings, this previous season, the season before, all go neck and neck in every game. And now I'm going to go right into the Chicago Bears. They're going full in on Caleb Williams. They're their guy. They picked up DeAndre Swift. They have Jalen Johnson. Now they just signed Kevin Byard. New face Gerald Everett at tight end besides Cole Kmet. And then they got an offensive tackle, Matt Pryor, to fill in the back hole to protect him. Their big money maker guy. The Chicago Bears are a team to also watch out for. The NFC North is a division that will be hard. I don't think all four of them will make it to the playoffs, but count your blessings right now. The NFC North will have a year that all four of these teams make a playoff run or become a playoff team.
I could see that. Yeah, I think like you were saying about the AFC North too. The NFC North just has a lot of talent coming into the division for next year, especially also when you consider the teams that are going to be making moves on draft night. I think it's gonna be a bloodbath, just like the AFC North, man. I do believe that Detroit is gonna be great, but I think a team like Chicago, with the moves that they've made, is gonna be just as good.
I totally agree. Chowski, before you go on and run on with the New York Giants, I'm just gonna dip into the NFC West. That no real moves really happened there. The Rams picked up their two guys that they wanted on their offensive line. That was great for them. They can now protect Matthew Stafford for the 1 year you have left. Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, that team's going to stay the same. There's nothing crazy. They got their new corner replacement of Jalen Ramsey that they've been hurting from last season. Seahawks stay the same with Leonard Williams. They picked up George Fant, or I think they re-signed him. Jerome Baker. I mean, all like mid-tier players that will probably push you over a little bit an average season. Then you go into the Cardinals. The Cardinals got Sean Murphy-Bunting, huge pickup for the corner. Jonah Williams for the offensive tackle side from the Bengals. You know, Will yourself, Jonah Williams is a huge asset in that offensive line, and he went to a team that needed him. With Kyler Murray in their aspect, and then the 49ers really didn't show so much. I'm not going to talk about Joshua Dobbs because that guy is not. Leonard Floyd, massive piece to that defensive line.
Yes.
Devondre Campbell, massive piece to that linebacker.
I think with Chase Young leaving, Leonard Floyd to pick up for them is huge.
Leonard Floyd and Devondre Campbell just made that defense unstoppable.
Just as good as it. Yeah, huge. I think they're going to be a team that's again going to be reckoned with in the West again.
You have Warner, you have Greenlaw, you have now Campbell. Then you go into your defensive front. Who do you have? Bosa, Floyd. They lost Eric Armstead. I mean, a lot of pieces right then and there shifted, but they fell also into the right position for that defense. And I think it's now younger, and I think it's more talented than it ever is, just based off of the, I guess, athleticism that they just brought in. But I'll bring it to you now. That was enough for the NFC West.
Yep.
Matt, go for it. This is
Um,
all you. NFC
yeah.
East.
So the Giants, I like what they did. Like I said before about Brian Burns, they're focusing on the trenches now. So Jermaine Illuminor, 2 years, 14 million. He played really well for Vegas last year. He's very versatile. He played right tackle, he played right guard, left guard. I'm pretty sure he also played. So, I think he's gonna be competing for right tackle with Evan Neal. Evan Neal's not the answer. The Giants don't want to admit it right now, but I don't think he's gonna be the right tackle for them next year. And I think Illuminor is gonna replace him. John Runyon Jr. from the Packers, 3 years, 30 million. I'm pretty sure I forget how old he is. I think he's later 20s, mid to late 20s. Never really missed a game, I'm pretty sure. Was really good for the Packers, and I think he's going to play either right guard or left guard. I'm not sure yet, depending on Luminor if he gets right tackle. So, like, really happy about these two guys. I think they are not cornerstone pieces, but they're going to be a bigger improvement from what they were last year. It's like a significant improvement. Um, and then Drew Lock, good backup QB. I think Giants still draft somebody. Um, but 1 year, 5 million, pretty much it says it all. He's going to be there for a year. He's going to be backing up Daniel Jones if Daniel Jones is the guy. And that is that. So, and then Devin Singletary, really underrated running back. I think he's a really good running back for the price. 3 years, 16.5 million. He's bounced around a lot. He was with the Bills. He was with the Texans. I think the Giants they're getting a lot of guys from the Bills since Joe Shane was with the Bills. I think that familiarity is what's making that possible. Um, but I like Devin Singletary. I think he's a good running back. I think he'll replace Saquon well. And that being said, I mean Saquon's an amazing player. Don't get me wrong, but I I'll get into Saquon. But anyway,
I
Washington
know you're
Commanders.
mad, bro. I
I
know you're mad.
well, I'll get into Saquon. All right, I'll get into Saquon. But Washington Commanders. I like what the Washington Commanders are doing. I am worried actually about the Washington Commanders because they are making a really positive change very quickly. New coach, new GM. I'm pretty sure new GM. I might be wrong. But anyway, I think they're making really good positive changes very quickly. Austin Eckler,
You said the Commanders.
yeah, Commanders, yeah. Uh,
New GM. Yeah.
new GM. Austin Eckler had a really bad year last year. Like, let's not get it wrong. He was really poor. I think he still has something left in him. Uh, 2 years, 8.5, 8.4 mil, really good deal. Really good deal for them. Bobby Wagner, great veteran linebacker. I think the Commanders will do some damage next year. I think they're a team that people are going to sleep on, because they're also going to get a QB. And yeah, I think they'll be decent next year. I think they'll be a 500 team. We'll see. Dallas Cowboys haven't made a lot of
Hold
moves.
on.
People, what? Go ahead.
Hold on.
Oh yeah.
This is what the Dallas Cowboys were.
But let me explain though. The Dallas Cowboys do most of their damage through the draft. They are a very good drafting team. So for them to
I
not pick up a
agree.
lot of guys makes sense. They have a lot of contract problems. They have a lot of guys on big contracts. Dak Prescott for one. Um, this is smart by them. They're gonna draft well. They always have, and they're still gonna be a great team. They're gonna be a potential playoff team. So I'm not. Yes, they were quiet. But Eric Hendricks is decent, as you know, Greg. He's pretty good.
Yeah.
So I think he's an improvement for what they had. Also,
Tad older.
Tad
They
older,
brought in
but
a lot of
what's his name on Dallas who retired? Their linebacker who retired recently. He was young.
Vander
Van Der
Esch.
Esch. Yeah, he was. I mean, Van Der Esch is gone. He was a great linebacker for them. So they had to replace him. But Dallas will draft well. I mean, that's just what's gonna happen. Now we get to the Eagles. Me personally, I don't think the Eagles improved. And that's a bold statement. I know that's a bold statement. But Saquon Barkley, he is a game-changing player who is past his prime. People need to realize that. The Giants had one of the worst O-lines in the league. But for any Giants fans to say that if he was still a Giant, the team is still good, that is a lie. That is a lie, dude. That he does not help the Giants improve. And he won't help the Eagles improve either. I'm telling you, even with that good O-line, if Saquon has a good year, okay, I get it. I get it. He has a better O-line. He's gonna have a better year than he had last year. That's obvious. But to say that the Eagles improved as a team by getting Saquon, I don't agree with that. I'm sorry, I just don't. And I've seen Saquon's whole career. He is not the same player he was. 3 years, 37.5 million, crazy money, crazy. The Giants offered that amount to him 2 seasons or a season and a half ago during the season. He didn't want it. I mean, he didn't want to be a Giant. It's that like, dude, it's a joke. It's a
I would
joke.
agree. I would agree. Yeah, he did not want
He
to be
didn't
a
want to be a
Giant.
Giant. He lied about wanting to be a Giant the whole time there. He wanted to be a Giant for life. Giant for life. No, he didn't want to be a Giant for life. It's bullshit. So now he's with the Eagles. I hope he does terrible. Uh, I mean, I like Saquon still, but I mean, bro, it's a joke.
Saquon
It's a
on the
joke.
Eagles.
It's a joke.
Saquon
I
What
would
on the
agree.
player's
Eagles.
Yes.
done that before? Going to the biggest rival. Eagles are a
Sol
bigger
Campbell.
rival. Eagles are a bigger rival
Will
than the Cowboys for the
the
Giants.
Saquon Barkley will be the #1 running back in the NFL next season.
Man, Greg, calm down,
I
dude.
think.
You are
I think he
overblowing
has
this.
to be.
You are overblowing this.
I'm
There's
not
I don't know
way
if he'll
trying
better
be
to
running
number
backs than
one.
Saquon in this league.
I,
Come on.
dude, I just have to say, Saquon finally going to a team that has an elite O line. I don't know how. I don't know
I
how you could
watched
say
every
that the
game of
Eagles
him.
didn't. Yeah, but I don't know how you can
I'm
say the
telling
Eagles
you,
didn't
Will.
get better though. I still think he's a great running back. You can't say that he's not.
Saquon's
Because the
still in his
Eagles,
prime.
Backfield, come on.
guys, look how they finished last year.
I
Their
agree.
coaching staff is garbage now. Garbage. They lost all their best coaches the past year, yeah, to last
Nick
offseason. It's
Nick
about coaching in
Sirianni.
this league. It's about coaching. Bro, Nick
Nick
I agree.
Sirianni's
Sirianni.
trash. He's
He will make
trash.
that team. He will make that team get into
He
the
doesn't do
playoffs.
anything. He doesn't call plays. He doesn't call any. He doesn't do anything. What does he do?
Ch-
He doesn't do anything.
Chowski. I know
Saquon's not gonna help
Saquon.
that team. I'm telling you, he's not.
Dude, I just think
How is he gonna put up better numbers than what they had last year? He'll do the same or worse. He's not gonna do better numbers than that. Look at what the Eagles' numbers for like what their running backs did for them last year. They had a great season running the ball. How's it going to
It's
improve?
because
How much
it's
more
be-
is it going to improve, Greg? I'm curious. I'm going to look up the numbers right now.
all right.
That's a fair point.
Let me
They did
let me get
great
to my
last
point.
year. How much better is it going to
Let,
get?
let me get to my point.
All right.
Saquon Barkley is your one guy in running back. That's what they needed in Philadelphia. They've ran with the running back committee ever since. Ever since they lost who? Who did they lose? Who was their Jay Ajayi in the 2017 Super Bowl? Once he was gone, wraps. And now you have Saquon Barkley, interdivisional rival, coming to your team who is a pure #1 back, has proven that. Adrian Peterson, run type. Adrian Peterson, physique and play style. He will be that guy in Philadelphia. I'm sorry. Yeah, you can say, well, what about A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith? Yes, they will get the ball. And Jalen Hurts will not have to risk his body on the line every play anymore, which he has been. You can throw the numbers out there and say Kenneth Gainwell, DeAndre Swift, whoever the hell else they had for their third guy, Clement or Corey Clement. I don't even know. But Saquon Barkley right now in that Philadelphia offense is going to be lethal. Lethal. I already
Dude,
know who's the NFC East champion, and it's the Philadelphia Eagles.
bro,
I
DeAndre
don't think this is
Swift.
going to be only solely from Saquon, but I think just with the pieces that they have around Jalen Hurts now, it's I don't see how you pick anybody else but the Eagles to win the division.
Dude, I'm telling you though, the Eagles running backs don't win you the league anymore, man. Like it's just not how it works. Saquon for 37.5 million, nobody else in the whole league was gonna sign him for that much besides the Eagles just to rub it in the Giants' face. I'm telling you that's how it is. I'm telling you,
I
Now,
bro.
would.
the only way I can agree with you on all your takes about Saquon is if he gets injured, because that shoots his factor down so bad. That
Well,
three
yeah,
year,
obviously, yeah.
37.5 mil,
Yeah.
you're signing that dude to be pure. You're signing that dude to live it up in Philadelphia. But once that hits and he gets that injury, you're tanking it. And if he doesn't, that Eagles team will be a force to be reckoned with.
All
It
right.
will
Well,
be.
yeah, I
I'm sorry.
agree. I mean, their but besides Saquon, I mean, Brian Huff, their defense is improved. I mean, it wasn't that great last year, but it's improved. I mean, Brian Huff's a really good player. Devin White, I really like. Always liked him since he's been in the league, um, especially with the Bucks. And then Gardner Johnson, I think he's a vet, right? He's been around for a bit. 3 years, 33
Yeah,
mil. I mean,
from the
that's a
Lions.
yeah. I mean, that's a good deal. So their defense is improved, but if we're talking about Saquon, their running game is not going to be better than last year. They'll have more explosive plays, but numbers wise, no, dude. This offense is all about Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts needs to step up because he ran how many first and goals in last year? Yeah,
I
like
mean,
100.
the famous tush push.
That's all he's like, bro. It's up to him, man. They're still
No,
gonna
I
do
get it.
tush pushes with Saquon, like,
I get it.
Yeah, it's the
bro.
easiest play
I
in
mean,
football.
I mean, they didn't need to spend this money on Saquon, bro. They did it to rub in the Giants' faces. That's all
That's
they
fair
did,
enough.
bro. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. So,
So to wrap this all up, I'm gonna go straight into the NFC South. Of course, make it brief. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers brought back their two stars with Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans. That 1-2 punch, of course. Brought in Levante David again. That's huge. And then they just got Jordan Whitehead, also huge. Their linebacker core got a little bit better, but they still have that 1-2 punch in offense, which is what they wanted. They achieved it. The Carolina Panthers got a bit better on defense and not so, and a bit better interior lineman. They got Robert Hunt, paid a massive amount. Haven't really watched that guy play that much. I just know he almost scored a touchdown on Thursday Night Football 2 years ago. Damian Lewis is pretty good. Jadavian Clowney, washed. Sorry. He's just washed. Ashawn
Mhm.
Robinson's decent at D tackle. You can't really say much. Pushing into the New Orleans Saints, Chase Young, defensive end. Will, you said it best. He was the problem with the 49ers. He even said the week before the Super Bowl he will not be playing his full capability, and now he's going to the New Orleans Saints. You took a half-ass kind of player. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Chase Young is a half-ass kind of player now. I mean, it's the way it is. But you did make a splash with looking at who else you picked up with these random names. Yeah, they're something. They made something out of themselves. They're in the NFL, of course, but how big of an impact are they going to drive to the New Orleans Saints offense, especially in that division? That division just got a whole lot better, bringing into the last concept of this. Atlanta Falcons, Kirko Chains, 180 mil, 4 years. Give me his agent. I want him to sign
Yeah,
me to that
he
type of.
has the best. Kirk Cousins' agent is the best negotiator in history. I don't know how
I
you
need his
sign a
agent
quarterback who's won one playoff game in seven
in
years to
12,
a
12 playoff appearances. 12.
4-year, $180 million deal coming off a torn ACL.
12. Where's
torn
that?
I
ACL.
Sorry.
He tore his
Sorry.
Achilles, man.
or sorry, yeah, Achilles, my B. Yeah,
Sorry. One playoff victory out of 12 seasons. That's what it was.
It's
That
crazy,
is,
man. I mean, the thing is they're gonna have weapons with Bijan now picking up Darnell Mooney. Like they're gonna have weapons, and again, this is another one of those teams where is Kirk's probably gonna give them a 12-5 record,
yeah.
maybe
Maybe.
11-6,
I'll
and then
I'll
they're gonna
say
lose in
this.
the first round of the playoffs.
No. I'll say this though. If the Bucks don't win this division next year, everyone deserves to be fired on that whole team. The Bucks
Yeah,
should take
agreed.
this division easily next year. Easily. I'm just saying that.
I wouldn't say easily because
I
I don't
of
think,
know.
Kirko Chains,
dude, I
but
will say, yeah, I wouldn't say easily. I think the Atlanta Falcons are definitely gonna
The
have
if
a greater than 500 record. I will say that.
Chowski, if you don't make it 1 or 2 in the division, yeah, everybody should be fired. If you make it bottom of the barrel 3 and 4, and you don't make a playoff run with the team you literally made a playoff run this season, it's wraps.
Yeah, they're the most coherent team in this division. They have
Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty much the same
agreed.
team. They should win it. I mean, they should win it. I don't know.
I agree. I
But
think they
yeah,
are the favorites. They're my favorites, but I still think that the Atlanta Falcons can win 10 games.
maybe.
I
Maybe.
I can give them
I think they do.
I can give them 10 games. 12 is a little pushing it
Depends on how
because
good
I
their
think
coach
10 games.
is.
and
Yeah,
their coach.
You
depends
know?
how good the
Yeah.
coaching staff is and then how well the defense plays. But I think they have all the weapons that they need offensively now. So,
No,
you
I'm
know,
totally with you on it.
Drake London as well is another decent player. So we'll see what they do. And I think again, it's another team that how far can a quarterback take them? It really all depends on that. They have the weapons, so it all
For
depends
sure.
on how Kirk plays. So
Totally with you there. Totally with you there.
agreed.
But listen, that is the first episode for the over 32 podcast. I mean, we're gonna go into more of the trade details once they all come out. I know there's a lot of missing pieces of the exact pick most teams get. It will probably be the week before the week before the NFL draft, and things will start rolling, and we'll get into it all. Of course, the major question marks for each of our loved teams. Justin Jefferson, Daniel Jones, and T. Higgins, of course, if we haven't heard any news. But yeah, I hope you guys continue to watch this and let's get it going. I mean, any words from you guys at all?
No, he was good. A good pod. We'll definitely be hitting stuff with the trades, and then my biggest thing, man, is when we start working on these predictions for the divisions. I think we can get into a lot of beef with that, dude.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, for sure.
I
Yeah.
think
For
we can get
sure.
into some pretty deep beef on because we have some very different opinions. I can already tell all three of us have some very. They're probably not correct, but they're very different.
No, yeah.
Easily.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Easily. So that's wraps one.
All right,
Take
guys.
care and have a good one.
See you.